Imagine walking through a forest where there are no birds singing, the air hangs heavy, and no squirrels are darting among the trees or deer running around. This is not a scene in a dystopian novel, but rather a glimpse into our future if we don't act soon. Endangered species investing is one of the most urgent crises of our time. Though opponents suggest we should not invest more in endangered species because of effectiveness and opportunity cost, there are many benefits to investing in them. It's not just an environmental concern, but ecological, health, and economic concern. Since the 1970s, the World Wildlife Fund report reveals that 70% of the populations of vertebrate species have declined by 70% since 1970, and species are disappearing at a rate 1,000 times higher than their natural background extinction. This is because of human effects like deforestation and pollution. Earth's systems are delicately intertwined from microorganisms to whales, and an obvious but important example of this are bees, bats, and butterflies, which are all pollinators, and 75% of flowering species depend on them. And if we lose these species, it will cause a domino effect, such as starving animals, starving people, and a trophic cascade. Another example of this is predators like wolves. In the early 20th century, wolves completely disappeared from Yellowstone National Park, and deer overgrazed on the grass, which caused more endangered species in the area, and it messed up a bunch of other vegetation in the riverbanks. Another example of this is sea turtles. Sea turtles are keystone species and help control our marine ecosystems and coral reef populations because they are the main predators of coral reefs. Sea turtles graze on seabeds, keeping vegetations controlled and healthy, preventing overgrowing and decaying, and maintain ecosystem health, and they indirectly regulate the climate because of carbon. By keeping the riverbeds, seabeds in check, and coral reefs, they all store carbon, which then reduce our carbon emissions and help regulate climate change. Moving on to health, animals also help give us ways to. Animals also help create medicine for people. University of Madison, Wisconsin is doing research on sharks and sponges, finding out that they have bioactive compounds in their genes which can help be treatments for breast cancer and liver cancer and possibly other types. Another example of this is the Gila monster. They have bioactive compounds in them and their venom, which can help be a treatment which has created a medicine for diabetes. The last point is economics. Ecotourism is an important example of this because it's responsible travel that supports conservation rather than destroying our ecosystems. Before the pandemic, ecotourism generated over $100 billion worldwide, and the living elephant is an example of this because having people pay to go look at elephants in the wild and possibly interact with them generates a lot more money than just taking their tusks and selling them for a very small amount. Saving the forest because of ecotourism is also a way to help manage our water, because trees filter the pollutants in water, which gives us cleaner water, animals, and minimizes the effects of people. Another way they do this is that their roots help keep the ground intact, which prevents erosion and can harm other animals, people walking around in the forest, and helps plants grow as well. Humans are deforestation is because of soybeans, beef, and palm oil. Trump and other governments are trying to challenge the Endangered Species Act to change the word harm to only include direct harm to animals. They're trying to get rid of the indirect harms that people cause and only make it to where harm is if you are directly killing an animal rather than other effects of people. This is getting rid of people polluting, carbon emissions, and then it's also harming the Convention of Biological Diversity 30 by 30 initiative, which is where people are wanting to save 30% of the sea and land by 2030. Thank you for helping get rid of this glimpse into our future, and coming with me on the ecological, health, and economic benefits of investing. Thank you.